Okay, hi everyone. I'm doing this again because I just had a listen back and you couldn't hear anything of what I was saying in the video. And really there's not much point in that if you can't hear anything. So I've just got my earphone microphone and hopefully that's going to do a little bit of better job. Maybe there's something up with the microphone on my phone. Anyway, thank you to Patricia for watching the last time. I think 3 o'clock in the afternoon is maybe not a great time to be doing live streams, but I'm not really going to do it late at night when it's really dark. I'm trying to stay close to the window to get a bit of light as it is. But yes, Patricia, I knew you'd like what I was talking about today. Anyway, so I'm going to start just very quickly. And there goes my books. Hold on a second. There we go. Anyway, so yeah, I started earlier. The books that I took the photograph of, they weren't all going back to the library. Some of them are mine, but I just kind of, I wanted to talk about a few books in particular. But before I start into the photography books, very quickly, I'm going to talk about the other ones that are bringing back to the library. We live just around the corner from the library, so it's fantastic. I love just going in and having a look around, and I'll pick up books, and I might not read all of it, but you know, sometimes you come across some really interesting things. This is Michael Harding, Staring at Lakes. Michael's another, he's a Cavan man. He writes beautifully. It was a really dark read, but really beautifully dark. It was really enjoyable. A memoir of love, melancholy and magical thinking. So kind of cool. Then this one, I picked it up. To be honest, I didn't even read that much of it, but what I did read was interesting. The Happier at Home. So it's the Happiness Project was the first book that this woman wrote, and she's basically doing experiments in the practice of everyday life. And it's interesting and something I'd like to come back to because I kind of feel like I'm going there more and more. You know, the practice of everyday life and kind of documenting truth and all those things. So that one, and then the last Nonphoto book, Love Your Lady Landscape, which is not nearly as weird as it sounds. It's written by Lisa Lister, who is she's a reproductive health practitioner and self-proclaimed witch. And yeah, it was really interesting. It was a bit of a game changer, to be honest, because it's about kind of just tuning into yourself and your own power. But like, you know, as a creative, as an artist, you have to be very tuned into yourself and forget about all the kind of noise that's going on. So yeah, I passed that on to a few special ladies over the last couple of weeks, and they've enjoyed it too. So the two photography books. Why People Photograph. I'm definitely going to be getting this book out again. Like when I say I'm reading about photography, like it is, I'm reading about it. It's the philosophy, it's the like what went into it, the situations and all those kind of things. This is kind of a series of essays. So it's like why people photograph. So at the start, it's talking about like the reasons that we do, like for writing, for teaching, for money, for humor, for dogs. Simply. So Audrey, this is definitely one for you. There's a lovely quote actually. Art depends on there being affection in its creator's life, and an artist must find ways, like everyone else, to nourish it. A photographer down on his or her knees picturing a dog has found pleasure enough to make many things possible. So yeah. Oh, Anna, yes, I will leave links to the books for sure. And thanks for watching. So yeah, and then there's just some beautiful essays on some successful photographers, which just, yeah, like Laura Gilpin. I'll be honest, I'd never heard of her before, but she did a lot of work in the plains of North America and the Native Americans. Like her portraits are really beautiful. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Gertrude Cassabier, who I also adore. So there's that one. And then there was The Nature of Photographs, which is a much more practical and visual book. Like this is just full of incredible photographs. And it's kind of broken up into 3 layers. So the first book is, or the first part of the book, sorry, is about like the physical aspect of the photograph, like the paper, the print, that like what an actual photograph physically is. Then it moves into the depicted realm. So, you know, like an artist more often than not starts with a blank canvas. They start with a concept, but then they're creating something on this blank canvas. Whereas for a photographer, whether it's a portrait photographer, a street photographer, a wedding photographer, we're looking at what's going on and reading that and then taking meaning out of that scene. So, you know, like the one frame that the photographer has captured, like there's so much going on outside of that. And, you know, like what's depicted can say a lot about that moment, like what's going on, maybe emotionally, politically, situationally, and a lot about the photographer as well in their eye. And then the third element of this book is the mental level. So, you know, you have like, okay, what the photographer has chosen to depict, but then there's everything that the photographer has brought to that scene, plus what the viewer brings to the scene when they look at that photograph. You know, you can have a photograph which has like a lot of physical depth, but has no mental depth, you know, like a landscape that stretches back. Or you can have a very simple still life which has a huge physical, mental depth to it. So yeah, it's really interesting. And again, another book I'll probably end up coming back to. And then 2 kind of photography must-haves. John Berger, he actually passed away really recently. So understanding a photograph and ways of seeing. So this was a college book for me. And I probably haven't actually read it in a while. I should come back to it. And then understanding a photograph was one that I picked up more recently. So it's newer, but yet it's much more worn, because I've actually travelled a lot with this and read it a lot. These, like, I've read these books, but I'll come back to them like again and again and again, because there's just so much in them. Like, how can you be a photographer if you don't understand where we've come from? If you don't understand why the first photographers became photographers, or where they were coming from. Like, there's so much more to it than just picking up a camera, or even developing the film yourself. Like, that's quite isolated. Like, when there's so much going on, and so much that has brought us to where we are in the world of photography today. And then last book, I think this was the one that fell actually, but anyway, this is one of my books. I've had it for years. Street photography now. Like, I'm not really a street photographer. At the moment, the only digital camera that I have is way too big to bring out in the street. But that's something that I'm going to work on. But like, these books, or these photographs, like, they just kill me. Like, the humor, the life, like Bruce Gilden. I'm glad that actually opened on this page. Like, I just love him. I love the humor. I love the danger in his photographs. Like, he's just, you know, if you can smell the street by looking at it, it's a street photograph. Like, I just eat these up. Like, I have to say, I really don't look at like a lot of wedding photographers, but like this kind of stuff, just, I love it. I really love it. So yeah, there you go. That's the kind of stuff that I'm reading. As far as I'm concerned, taking the photograph is a very small part of my job. Knowing the people that I'm photographing, like actually making them feel seen and really seeing them, that's one part of it. Knowing where we're coming from, bringing all that together with the technical ability of actually being able to use the camera and looking for light, and all of this that I already know is such a small fraction of what there is to know. And that's one of the things that I love about being a photographer. You've got the physical challenge, like the actual physicality of the photograph, but then you've got the academic, the creative. There's so much going on in it. So yeah, and in the last video, which I have to show you again because it just came up, but if I can reach her, let me see. Ooh, yeah, wait. Oh, I'm going to move the camera. There you go. So I want to show you Emily before we go. She is an Amanda Grace original. How beautiful is she? How beautiful. She's just, I mean, when I saw her, I fell in love with her. Hopefully I'm going to be talking to Amanda later on this week. And we might have a little chat about Emily. She was born in November amongst a lot of fire, emotional fire for a lot of us with the elections in the States. And yeah, I fell in love with her. So I'm looking forward to framing her because she desperately needs a frame. Anyway, now it's time to go to the library. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks, Anna. I will definitely leave some links to the books. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Have a good Monday. Bye.